Blog Talk Radio.
Archangels, ghosts, and Bigfoot, oh my. It's just another night for Supernatural Girls. Real stories, real answers to life's biggest supernatural mysteries. And now for another exciting interview with paranormal experts from this world and others. Here's your host, paranormal researcher Patricia Baker, on the one, the only Supernatural Girls.
Welcome, everyone, to another exciting episode of Supernatural Girls Radio. I'm your host, Patricia Baker, and I am here with my co-host, Patricia Kirkman. PK, how are you tonight?
Absolutely fabulous. It's a wonderful day. The sun's out. It's warm. Oh, God, did it feel good. What can you say?
Well, I can tell you what we can say. We're jealous. We're freezing in New England, and we're just praying.
Well, that's why I said it's been crazy. We've had cold, and today it feels like a real summer day. Geez, that's scary. Must be we're going to get snow tomorrow, right?
Right.
Nothing's
Snow
natural
and get warmer. I know it. It's just insane. Well, look, I'm glad to have you with us tonight because you have a very exciting show and a terrific guest. Jennifer Gale is joining us in a few minutes, and she's the author of a new book, The Return of Planet Sedna. There is so much information we need to go over tonight because this is going to affect each and every one of us. We got to find out how. So before we go there, Miss PK, what's happening with the numbers?
Well, you know what? May is all about our finances. And boy, this has been proven true right off the bat. Look at the stock market, up, down, up, around. Everybody's worried about what's going to happen next. I won't say that our gracious leader has got people shaking in their boots about their money and their funds, but they are. But we talked about it last month about secrets being made known last month. We were warned ahead of time. People just don't pay attention. But this month also we're dealing with changes. And the changes deal with unexpected issues taking place. Don't count on anything because that's about the size of it. Nothing is going to be normal. Speed's a factor as well as change. So expect the unexpected, and that's the best way to look at it. I'll take whatever it is. I'll hold on to the side of the boat, and I'm going to ride the waves, and I'm going to make it. It's my story. I'm sticking with it.
Okay. Well, it's fair warning, right? It's fair warning for all of us.
Oh,
now,
yeah.
I got it. First of all, our condolences to Stanton Friedman's family. He passed away, and he was a legend in UFO exploration. Unfortunately, He passed away a few days ago. He will be missed. That is for sure. Now, last week, Robert Luca and I were talking about government harassment of UFO abductees, of which he is one. And what's so interesting is we had been talking about this before we went live, and we were predicting that the black helicopters were going to return. And sure enough, Bob sent me an email.
They do.
And he said, I don't know if this is coincidence or not, but yesterday we had 3 overflights of large military helicopters pass over the front of our house at about 200 to 300 feet in altitude. Now, that's low. This happened.
That's very low.
Yeah, it is. 1:30 p.m., 5:15 p.m., and 8:47, last night. And then the next day, they came back around 6:20. So Bob has said these are not helicopters that he can identify. He knows what he's looking at. So he now has his camera ready in case they make a return trip. But he said they have not had any flyovers at this house except for one years ago. They've been there for 14 years. And the only flyover they had was one day, and it was in 2014, nothing else. So very coincidental that right after the show we were talking about the government harassment, black helicopters. It's like they were just
Right.
couldn't wait to say hello to Bob again and Betty.
Well, we knew ahead of time that there were going to be major things that were coming out of secrets, and they're looking at secrets. Bob was quite correct, and we knew it was going to take place. And by God, the government didn't disappoint us, did they?
No, they did not. They're still up to their shenanigans, I guess. So,
yes, they are.
Yes. So I wanted to also let people know that if they want a reading with you, PK, they can go to patriciakirkman.com and book a reading and find out everything about themselves, their numbers, their birth date, what their name means, and what's coming up. You can also find Patricia Kirkman on our website, supernaturalgirls.com. And you can also find our new candles there. So make sure you take a look.
They're great.
They are so beautiful, but more importantly, they're powerful. They were designed by Katrina Raspold and me, and they are packed with mojo. So go to the website, and you will see on the left-hand side there is a new category for shop. So you can go to the shop, and hopefully it's working now. We had a little bit of a glitch there with our website designer, and I called them, and they supposedly straightened it out. But if you want a candle and you can't seem to get it to work on our website, just shoot me an email. I'll be happy to have one sent out to you. So we have them for soul clearing, love, and wealth. Now,
we can all use one of those.
I can use every one of them. Actually, I have all of them.
That's for sure.
Them. Now, there's also another story. If anybody out there is a good decoder, you can win a prize from a French village that wants somebody to please decipher a rock covered in a secret code. They've dated it to 230 years ago. I don't know how they did that, but they figured out it was from 230 years ago, and nobody has been able to decipher it. So if you're good at that kind of thing, take a look at our Facebook page. I posted the article there. In case you want to try to decode this, you could get the prize, which is $2,200 U.S. So anyway, they say that nobody's been able to figure it out, but one legible section reads, and I can't even pronounce it. It looks like a language I've never seen before. But some believe it may have been written in a form of the Basque language, while others think it's an older form of Breton. So, anyways, take a look at that wild story about the secret code that's written on the rock in France. And, oh my goodness, there's just so much going on in the world. There's also women are going missing in Hawaii. There was another one reported in Maui who just disappeared. So be careful if you're taking a trip to the islands. That's all I can tell you. Apparently there's a forest there. Somebody, a young woman, went to go for a jog, and she has completely disappeared. So be cautious. You know, we often talk about the missing 411 stories. I don't know if this one is similar to that, but she's gone. So be careful in your exploration, especially when it comes to any kind of a state forest. So tonight, we are talking about the return of planet Sedna. Now, Sedna's last appearance was 11,000 years ago, but we're going to find out all about what's going to happen when she returns. And to tell us all about this is expert Jennifer Gale. Now, Jennifer also instructs astroharmonic medicine and continuing education to licensed professionals. She is a certified acutonics practitioner, astrology sound healer, and mentor with a master's degree in health sciences from St. Francis University. So I can't wait to hear what she has to say. How about you, PK?
Oh, I'm fascinated by it. Going through the book, you just couldn't go, oh, my God, look at all these questions.
I know.
She's going to answer them, which is even better.
Oh, a lot of great information about astrology, healing, and the awakening of cosmic Kundalini. And Jennifer, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me.
Oh, it's our pleasure. This is a very, very unusual topic. And I don't think we've ever had anybody on talking about all of these subjects in one evening. So please tell us, first of all, about you, because it's very interesting, and all of the work that you're doing with the astroharmonic medicine and the music. Tell us all about this. How did you get into this?
Sure. I do want to qualify. I apologize for not letting you know ahead of time, but I actually don't teach the continuing education classes anymore. But I am doing, my profession and my expression of service keeps morphing, as I'm sure you guys experience in your own lives. It's like the universe just keeps evolving us, evolving our work. So let me answer your question. I started out as a musician at a young age, like around 6 or 7. So music has always been a part of my life. That's what my undergrad degree is in. As a teenager, I became really interested in astrology. You know, that tender age when we're all searching for a place to belong, and I was, searching like all of my other peers, I guess, but I never felt like I fit in wherever I was. I didn't feel like I fit in with my family, didn't feel like I really fit in with my peers. I never felt quite at home, and I really never felt quite at home in my own skin. My whole journey, my whole life has been about really getting to know who I am, and that, at the age of whatever it was, 13, 14, when I started to learn about myself through the language of astrology, I began to relax a little bit. It's okay that I'm like this. It's okay that I feel this way, or I don't feel this way around this particular group of people, or that I have a unique signature, and that is the whole point. So that is why I became absolutely enthralled with astrology. Later on, after college, I became interested in the healing arts, and I always wanted to combine my background in sound and music with the energy work. Eventually, while I was working at an acupuncture school and receiving acupuncture, I also fell in love with Chinese medicine and that system. So it was through my experience at working at that school that I found out about acutonics. Acutonics combines everything that I love: the music, the astrology, the planetary science. So that is how I came to be doing what I now do, and it's also how I learned about Sedna, the planet, which was discovered in 2003, and that is when I really began my intensive coursework through the at the Acutonics Institute.
I've never even heard of the Acutonics. Where is this place, the Acutonics Institute?
The mothership for the Acutonics Institute is in Llano de San Juan, New Mexico.
Oh gosh.
Oh.
But
yeah,
there are
your
teachers,
fascinating. But there's probably
teachers
around the country,
all over the world, really.
Oh, okay. It sounds like very powerful work that you're involved with. And we were talking before you went live about how you can interpret somebody's personal natal chart in music. Tell us about that. That's so fascinating.
Yeah. Well, when I was doing research for my first book, which is on planetary signatures, I became really fascinated about the whole concept of the doctrine of signatures. The doctrine of signatures states that nature marks each growth according to its curative benefit. So we find through the signatures of our plant medicine and herbs and gemstones, we find their signature of healing. But we forget that we humans have the very same thing. Everything arises in nature from vibration. It is the vibration that creates specific formations. And it's fascinating to me, too, when we consider that this planetary signature or celestial signature that we all have at the time that we're born is also analogous to the snowflakes, and that no two snowflakes are created to be the same. They all have a very unique signature. And I was absolutely fascinated when I learned about Wilson Bentley's work and how he described that the signature of the snowflake is determined by its journey through cloudland.
Wow.
And I mean, when you think about that in terms of the human experience, in terms of the soul and its journey through, through all these dimensions and lifetimes, just the journey through eternity, through infinity, and how, I mean, in my view, we live many lifetimes, as learning what it's like to be male, female, powerful, or servant. I think that hopefully we don't have to continue those lessons. I believe that one of the lessons that I don't want to get ahead of myself, but one of the lessons Sedna is here to remind us of is that we're coming full circle, and we don't need to continue on that karmic wheel. But my point is that all of these experiences and all of the experiences of our ancestors, they're all connected. And so a soul who's only lived a few lifetimes is probably not going to have the same empathy and compassion for other living beings, humans, creatures, plants, or planets. I mean, you have to have that journey through cloudland, over time.
Yeah.
It's the
right.
experience of the soul that garners wisdom and allows us to express it.
Well, all of this is just fascinating. Again, you have a special talent when it comes to taking someone's chart and turning it into music. I mean, that's amazing. And we're going to get back to that because I know you're doing some fascinating things on YouTube and offering groups for people to participate at the new moon and also at the full moon, you said. So we'll get back to all of that because I want to make sure that you have a chance to tell people how to get a hold of you. And let's go to Sedna because, as you mentioned, it was discovered in 2003, and it's a dwarf planet, right?
Yes, actually, its official category is called a sednoid. So its orbital characteristics were so unique that it was given its own category. And I detail that in my book, but I probably won't do it justice because I'm not an astronomer. So when I gather these clues and write about it, I am not always able to, paraphrase it for listeners without going back to the book to refer, at least when it comes to astronomy. But there are reasons why its orbital characteristics caused astronomers to give it its own category.
Because I've heard that the orbit has been described as eccentric, that it has something to do also with Planet 9. I mean, there's a lot of, as you mentioned, there's a lot of facts that go around its discovery and why the orbit is so eccentric. So go ahead. It's fascinating. Keep going. We want to hear more.
Well, the main umbrella for many of the outer planets, they call them TNOs, trans-Neptunian objects. So they're planets whose orbits are beyond the orbit of Neptune's. And so they categorize them according to how their orbit interacts with that of Neptune's. And Sedna's, and then you've got scattered distant objects and scattered near objects, and all of that has to do with its relationship to Neptune. And like I said, I don't want to get too bogged down in astronomical details because I am not an astronomer. And truly, I consider myself only to be an expert in my own life experience. I like to gather and sift clues, present them in a connected way, and let the readers decide for themselves what further questions would they like to ask, what further exploration would they like to conduct. But because so much about Sedna is about embracing the mystery. So Sedna's, this planet is beyond our solar system. So first of all, it is the first planet to be named outside Greco-Roman tradition, myth tradition. Sedna is named for the daughter of an Inuit community who refused marriage, refused suitors. Basically, she defied tradition. And she finally did, there are different variations, as there always are, on the myth. In some versions, she chose the suitor finally, and in others, her father chose for her. But in any case, she married, and only after marriage did she discover that her spouse was not actually a man, but a shapeshifter raven god, and she was away from the comforts of her original home and family, and crying out to her father to rescue her. When her father came to rescue her, the raven god who had been out hunting discovered them and created a massive storm on the Arctic Sea, and so the father, in fear for his own life, threw her into the water. Sedna tried several times to get back into the boat, and he cut off her digits and then her hands, her fingers, and then her hands. And that is what became the life in the sea. Through this process, it's very shamanic. Because in shamanic ritual, the initiates often do have injury, or in the journey they experience some sort of dismemberment in that shamanic journey initiation. But they are then transformed into a higher state of consciousness. And in this case, Sedna was transformed into the immortal sea woman, who now has the power over the community who abandoned her to provide or withhold sustenance. But the interesting thing is that because she has no hands, she cannot comb her hair and free the sea creatures who get caught up in her long tendrils of hair. So a shaman has to enter the deep waters, comb her hair, placate her, and free the sea mammals so that there is then life for hunting among the Inuit.
Huh. So that's quite a large myth. How do you digest this? I mean, how do we, as listeners to what happened to this woman, I mean, it sounds tragic, and yet at the same time, she becomes this all-powerful entity. I mean, what do you make of this? What does this mean to us as individuals on the planet today?
Yeah. Well, the long and short of it is that this shamanic initiation process is something I believe each one of us needs to. I don't mean that all of us have to study shamanism but the characteristics of the shamanic journey are really meeting with our deep, dark fears, meeting with the shadow, transforming the dark recesses, the dark, murky waters, and remembering, above all, Sedna's association with water is paramount. Let me start with this. She was discovered in 2003. She was named in 2004. And it was in 2004 that we suffered that massive tsunami in Indonesia that killed nearly 250,000 people. And since then, many water events have increased in frequency and intensity. Hurricanes, Category 5, have increased. There virtually no place on the planet has been untouched by some form of encounter with water and weather events, I'm going to call them. I don't want to call them catastrophe because I am not catastrophe minded. There is a deeper meaning for us to cultivate with regard to our relationship with water. But I do believe, just as, the outer planets, many astrologers assign them, they actually call them a higher octave of the planets that are closer to the Earth. For instance, Uranus is considered to be a higher octave of Mercury. In Sedna's case, I believe she's like the triple octave of all of the water signs. And what does this mean for us? It means that as we evolve and assist Earth in her own ascension process, we have got to embrace and allow the process of feeling all human emotion in order to heal what has gone on in our ancestral lines, on this planet. We can't, I'm sorry I can't remember the author's name, but the book with the title, Feelings Buried Alive Never Die, says it all.
Yes.
So we have got to be held accountable for all that triggers us. And I really believe that those of us who identify ourselves or who know at our core essence that we are light workers, we are way showers. We came here to anchor in the higher vibrations of love and light on this planet specifically for the purpose to help Earth evolve and ascend and to help everyone on this planet reach a higher level of consciousness. I do believe
you have
that
a very
is, go ahead.
I just wanted to say you have a very positive outlook on all of this, but I have to say, given the power of the water and also what planet Sedna introduced us to with the tsunami and all of the other things, the hurricanes, the cyclones that we've had that are massive. I mean, why wouldn't this happen again, but even more exponentially powerful than what has happened in the past?
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah.
Very good point.
Perhaps that's where free will comes in, and all I can do is be true to my guidance, be true to my instincts and my intuition. And I've studied the Sedna chart, and when I look at the message in the Sedna discovery chart, it's any planet's discovery chart is similar to an individual's birth chart. It's when that planet dawns upon our collective psyche. That planet is born, so to speak. But in this case, Sedna is returning along her very elongated elliptical path. And we became aware of it, astronomers, quote unquote, discovered her in 2003. But when I look at the discovery chart of Sedna, her message is one of having trust like the child, regaining the inner trust of a child, reconnecting with the heart. And, she's got Leo rising. She's got the ruler of the South Node and the North Node, Pluto and Venus, in the 5th house, which is creative. It's life-affirming energy. It's the house where we celebrate life. It's not. I don't believe she has returned to repeat calamity, as was the case when at the end of the Ice Age, when waters rose and Atlantis was engulfed in the water and disappeared.
Yeah,
I'm going to borrow
I
a
hope,
quote. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I hope you're right. It's just that, I was a psychotherapist for over 20 years. I was a dream analyst for longer than that. And unfortunately, despite all the attention that has been given in books and in talks to emotional intelligence, there's very little of it. And I mean, this is something that should have been taught in schools all these years and should have been encouraged in every family. Instead, what we're still seeing is that lack of understanding about the water, our own emotional waves. We still don't have a mastery of that. What I like about what you're saying is that Planet Sedna is reminding us, hey, this is what you have to take charge of. This is what you have to really become one with and stop repressing it. Start exploring it. Start getting responsible around it.
Yes.
And it sounds like her message is perfect. It's just I'm not sure how many people are listening.
Well, that's why we're here doing what we're doing. That's why you have your radio show. That's why I write my books. That's why we do what we do. And I have to believe that, one of the things I talk about, it's the introductory story in my book, The Genie from Null. And anyway, it's about right timing and trusting again in right timing. I really believe that is a huge part of it. Sedna is bringing us full circle and connecting us simultaneously with our ancient past and our mysterious future. But we get to participate right here and now in what we want that future to be. And we have to remember that every human being on this planet, I'm going to borrow this phrase from Marianne Williamson, is an immune cell for planet Earth. So it is incumbent upon us to remember the infinite power we have inside to connect with these energies, with these higher harmonies and higher octaves of energy for the purpose of healing ourselves and healing the collective, first and foremost, the planet. And that's, in the book, Astrology, Healing, and the Awakening of Cosmic Kundalini, these ley lines on the planet mirror the acupuncture meridians in the body and vice versa. We also call them axiotonal lines, axia coming from axial and tones for, obviously, the vibration. But these are the lines through which Kundalini, life force energy, moves. And when we understand how connected we are to everything else, we understand the law of reciprocity. It is not the goal. It's not a religious doctrine. It is a cosmic law. It informs everything that happens in nature. So
now, how important do you think it is for people to become aware of their own Kundalini energy and activate it? Do you see that as a piece of the puzzle here, that we need to get in touch with that energy through yoga or meditation or
astro
whatever? Yeah, or astro sound.
That's a good,
right.
That's a very good question, ladies.
Is that an important element?
It totally is, and I feel that even more important is getting in touch with and staying in touch with the heart, because it's in the heart center where all of that, everything else revolves around that, just like all of the planets revolve around the sun in our solar system. The way the organs work, the energetic function and physical function of the meridian system and the organs revolves around that heart center, physically, energetically, emotionally, spiritually. That is the most important thing, I feel. And then whatever comes from that, I believe, that the energy will move quite organically and naturally, and one's evolution and healing journey will evolve naturally from that center.
Okay, well, that is the center, supposedly, of integration of the two forces, one coming up and one coming down. It looks like we have a question, so I'm going to get this person on the air. Area code 804. Hi, you're live on the air. Do you have a question for Jennifer?
Yes, I do. I love her work. This is Hugh, and you'll have to come back to me for all the synchronicities that are happening. But I am self-proclaimed Hugh, the heartbeat of America, and what she's talking about related to sound is something I've discussed also. I feel that is very important, and I wondered if she knew of David Raphael, who has a whole website, artainment.com, related to beautiful music and kaleidoscopic images and mandalas.
I'm not aware of that individual, but I'm really pleased and not at all surprised to know that, is it a he? That he exists? He? Is it a he or she? I didn't quite hear the name.
Yes, Dr. David Raphael. The main site is...
Oh, David Raphael. Okay.
Yes, yeah. The main site is lightparty.com. I'd love to connect you. You can introduce yourself through my name, and I'd like to speak with you and get more attention to your work, too. It's very important what you're saying. And do you do readings based on what you do?
I don't call them readings. I really don't like to do astrological readings.
Okay.
I am a facilitator of energy. All I do is, through the use of sound based upon the astrology chart of the individual, I create a recording that bypasses linear logical thinking and goes deep into the meridian matrix that I'm talking about, and just organically allows what the feedback that I get from people is that they feel more centered, more grounded, they feel more like themselves. It's so subtle that unless someone has a migraine and that migraine goes away, the effects of their healing experience is not always easy to put into words. It's not easy to quantify, but what they feel as they move forward, or if they continue to listen, let's say, to their astrosound recording, anytime they encounter a stressful situation, they're responding to it completely differently from a much more calm and serene space. So
yes,
I guess you go ahead.
I was just going to say I'll let you continue on, but I did leave a message for you, and I love what you're doing, and I think people are ready for what you have to offer, so I want to help get more attention to that. It's very important in these chaotic times.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thanks for your call. Mm-hmm. And again, Jennifer, you'll be announcing how people can get a hold of you. Why don't you do that right now also, and then we'll do it again towards the end of the show. But how can people reach you?
Sure. Well, I am in the Northampton, Massachusetts area, actually South Deerfield. My phone number is probably the easiest way. It's 413-320-3954. They can go to my website, Soundworks by Gail. GEHL is how Gail is spelled. So soundworksbygail.com. And my email address is soundworksbygail@gmail.com.
Terrific, because I know people will be reaching out to you because, again, you have a lot to offer, and it's fascinating, especially because people are living in stressful times, and something that you're offering allows people to manage their stress, it sounds like, quite differently and being more authentic. And that's a part of this, too, isn't it? Being more authentic. That Sedna's calling for that. Sedna is saying you have to own who you are, right?
Yes, very much so. And the way it's also about honoring our ancestry, our ancestral paths, and because that's a shamanic theme. And as the best way to honor our ancestors is by ceasing, just recognizing and healing so that we can stop the negative patterns of violence, abuse of power, abuse of anyone previously considered to be inferior, and I mean that through tradition. Sedna is about departing from what we have, any preconceived notions around what historically has been valued. And of course, for the last 2,000 or 3,000 years, it's been a patriarchal view. And I say this not in any way to insult men, because that is not what this is about at all. This is about men and women giving expression to the intuitive side, the mysterious, the intuitive side, that the imaginative realm, the right side of the brain, the creative side. Because for too long, our culture has been conditioned to only value what is seen, what is manifested, what can be built, what is visible, instead of and relegating everything else in the unseen realm or the spiritual realm as fanciful or
right. They don't make room for it.
Irrational.
It's a very narrow. It's a very narrow view of what reality is, and it's unfortunate.
Oh, yeah. I want to go back to that if it's okay. Because you mentioned this earlier with Sedna, representing the ocean and the waters on this planet. Scientists have said, we've only explored. At this point, we've only explored 5% of our oceans.
Wow.
We also only know 5% of all reality. This is what her message is. It's reminding us that we've got to stop making decisions individually and collectively based on just that 5%. It's time to leave room to explore the mystery. I'm not saying I have all the answers. God, no. I don't want to be that person. But every individual has the answers that he or she needs. That's what my work endeavors to do, is to facilitate space where they're being introduced to themselves, maybe for the first time, maybe for, the 10th time. But it's about expanding more and more into that authentic self.
Yes, it's so and water in and of itself is so mysterious and powerful. We're going to take a very short commercial break, and then we'll be back to continue this and find out more about what the return of Planet Sedna. What does that mean for all of us? So stay tuned, everybody. You are listening to Supernatural Girls Radio, and we will be right back.
Pure essential oils, specialized minerals, and a revolutionary anti-aging technology. Astridian combines the best of all scientifically proven ingredients in easy-to-use creams, lotions, and concentrated serums. Astridian's advanced line of products take your skin to a new level of being healthy and beautiful. We offer a variety of collections that address all your skin concerns. The Essential Anti-Aging Series treats and moisturizes your skin for a long-lasting, younger look. The Multivitamin Series promotes healthy skin with high-quality vitamins and minerals. The Sports Series restores skin from cellular damage and stress. Astridian also offers a revitalizing solution for hair and a professional series for doctors and medical spas. Visit astridian.love today and begin your new journey to healthy, beautiful, youthful skin. Astridian, beyond your expectations.
Are you ready for a new experience of freedom and powerful connection? Would you like a positive, effortless change in your life? Then come to CosmicFusion.com, where we offer the most advanced energy clearing and expansion techniques in the world, with a quantum vortex energy to activate your divine blueprint and life's purpose. When your soul leads the way with cosmic fusion and quantum vortex energy, you can break clear of past difficulties and blocks with the power of the source. With cosmic fusion, the source energy does the work for you. It's easy and effortless. Listen to our free meditation right from our Cosmic Fusion website, the Cosmic Code Meditation. Sign up for one of our interactive webinars today. Come to Cosmic Fusion, www.kosmicfusion.com, to experience an effortless awakening and transformation. Are you ready for an upgrade? Are you ready for a new experience of living in the fifth dimensional magic and powerful connection? Then visit CosmicFusion.com today. CosmicFusion.com.
Your property tax bill. Have you seen it lately? It's frightening. Your property taxes are going up while your home value is going down. It's time to fight back and win. For the real truth about the property tax system, get attorney Pat Quintilian's book, Are You Getting Screwed on Your Property Taxes? How to Find Out and How to Fix It. Attorney Quintilian answers all your questions and gives you the facts you need to fight a property tax bill that is spiraling out of control. You'll also read about what happens to property owners who don't check their property records, only to find out too late they're taxed on square footage, fixtures, and even buildings that they don't own. Is this happening to you? Learn your rights. Buy attorney Pat Quintilian's book today. Are You Getting Screwed on Your Property Taxes? How to Find Out and How to Fix It. Available on Amazon.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to Supernatural Girls Radio. I'm your host, Patricia Baker, and we are here tonight, PK and I, with a great guest, Jennifer Gale. She is the author of a new book, The Return of Planet Sedna, Astrology, Healing, and the Awakening of Cosmic Kundalini. And we are getting a lot of great information here. What is that background noise? Okay, you guys. Who's doing that?
I don't think it was
Knock
me.
it off. No, it's not you. Not me. Okay. Do we have government people who just can't be quiet when they listen to the show? What is that? So anyways, Bob Luca, I think you started something last week. So anyways, but this is great information, Jennifer. And again, I'm not trying to be difficult. I just think that people oftentimes today, though there has been so much written about this, still have a hard time with their own emotional bodies, the water body.
Yeah.
It's very challenging for people. It's a shame that it is. But it still seems to be some type of a major problem. So it's Sedna coming back in whatever way she's going to do this. I hope people will be able to work with you and other practitioners to master this and then be able to accept the emotional body, take responsibility for their own emotions, not weaponize their feelings. But learn how to responsibly share them. That is so, so important. But in talking about Kundalini awakening, is this something that your work with the harmonic medicine can do? Can you help people get in touch with their own Kundalini energy and start that awakening process?
Sure. I mean, that is really the whole, that's really part of the process, because as I said, Kundalini is life force energy. Everything is energy, but sound and vibration work so beautifully, so well to harmonize what is causing dissonance in the deep recesses of our soul, our psyche. It can unravel those frozen, old or ancient patterns that we've been carrying, that were our ancestors, that no longer serve us in moving forward. And, of course, working with the Meridian Matrix taps us into that original source, the original qi, yuan qi, which is what they call it in Chinese medicine. Sedna's association with water in Chinese medicine, that is dealing with the specific emotion of fear, and this is what we need to mitigate. This is what we need to overcome. There's so many things I want to say, but I want to stick with just this association with Chinese medicine. It's
Sure.
The water element is also associated with the kidneys and urinary bladder, and with the color black. And of course, black has been vilified as evil, as personifying evil, or representing, I should say, evil. But what's interesting, and this is coming from author Mikio Sankey, I believe, Esoteric Acupuncture, but he reminds us that, we also associate black with mourning because it's what people wear to funerals, but black is the color that absorbs light. And the reason people wear black to funerals is so that the departed souls can find the light and go through the portal to the next dimension, or wherever, to the higher dimension. And I found that so interesting. This is part of our patriarchal system that has dominated for the last few thousand years. The mysterious feminine, we've forgotten the dance of yin and yang, the dark within light giving birth to light, and light within dark giving birth to dark. They are simply energies, and it all depends on our expression of these energies that determines whether we see more evil perpetuated in the world, and entities that actually are created from aggregate belief systems that create this kind of chaos and havoc. So I know I'm going off the rails again. Help me get back on track. But
no, that's no problem. I mean, I like what you're saying, because it is interesting, because you're talking about, again, shamanism. You're talking about owning all parts of ourselves, and certainly on that journey.
Exactly.
We've had enough shamans on the show that have talked about this. And especially PK, you remember Don Oscar. He was amazing.
Oh, yes.
The shaman we've had on several times from Peru. And he talked about, how he learned to embrace all the screwed up parts of himself. He tried to kill himself twice, and he was an alcoholic, and he came from a family where his father was a prominent physician. His mother was nuts. And it created a lot of chaos in his life, and he basically started living that kind of a chaotic life. But he came to terms with it in a very shamanic way, and he's a very powerful shaman today. We love him. He's one of our favorites, but it is so important, because what we're used to doing in this society, in my opinion, is cutting off the parts of ourselves that we don't like, or we don't know what to do with them, and or it's not acceptable in society or a family. Cut that part off. But that is the problem. That becomes a shadow, or that becomes something that's tagging along that never gets integrated. Now, water, and you talk about the power of water and planet Sedna's association with water, that has many different aspects that will be affecting us, I would imagine, from cleansing to, if you think about water, it goes everywhere. It's very hard to contain.
Right.
So it's also, I think, a perfect element to use and to work with to reclaim these parts of ourselves that we've left behind. So there's a lot of ways, I think, that you're bringing to our attention in this book and tonight on the show, that we can work with the power of water. And we can, again, reclaim ourselves. It's a shamanic journey that we're all on, whether we want to be or not. We're here and we're doing it. And the planet Sedna is a beautiful feminine aspect that hopefully will lead us to unity within ourselves. And that, I think, is the whole message of this, right? Or at least one aspect of this.
it is one of many, but it is absolutely crucial. And I want to talk just a little bit about the water element itself.
Yes,
I
please.
go into the four elements in my first book, but the water element is so special because you cannot separate two drops of water once they've joined. Water is cohesive. Water takes on the shape of its environment. It is all about connectivity. Sound travels faster in water. Our bodies are 70% water. The body of Earth is 70% water. Just another example of as above, so below, as within, so without. But that's why sound works so beautifully on the body, because we're mostly water and sound travels faster in water. But the main message of water, as you pointed out, is about unity, reminding us that and I want to touch upon medicine, because what you said about us cutting off those parts of ourselves that are unpleasant, that we don't want to see, that's exactly what we're doing in Western medicine. We're taking out the organ. We're annihilating the messenger who is just showing up to, through the symptoms of the body to reveal to us a deeper healing that needs to take place. And it is the deep healing that Sedna's reminding us we need to do.
Yes, and certainly we agree completely with all of that, because what we have today is just Band-Aid medicine. And it is not at all addressing the real cause. Unless you have a functional medicine, a doctor or a team of functional medicine people, that they're more attuned to looking for a source, a cause. But overall, pharmaceutical companies are looking not for cures, but they're looking for customers. So it is not the best way to approach. However, I do have to say that for emergency medicine, we do pretty well in this country. But for ongoing medical concerns, we do terribly.
Yes, and I would never suggest that we need to do away with one in favor of another. Each has its place, just like the left brain and the right brain, the yin and the yang, definitely. But it's about restoring balance. We have been so out of balance with a one viewpoint, and it's a reductionist viewpoint rather than an all-encompassing understanding the connectivity. And so we really do need to remember, call back the members, those dismembered parts of ourselves that are the reason we need a soul retrieval, calling back these parts of ourselves. And I want to say something about Chinese medicine also, because this is so important and goes to the heart of why I use astrology in the way that I do in combination with the planetary frequencies. In Chinese medicine, there are 3 levels of medicine. The first is treating the symptoms. The second is preventative care. But the third and highest level of medicine is connecting an individual to his or her destiny, his or her life purpose. This is what motivates us. It's what inspires us to do the work that we do. It's what makes our life integrative and connected. Just like, first I was musician, then astrologer, then Chinese medicine lover. Those were 3 compartmentalized parts of myself that I searched and searched and searched for a way to integrate, to synthesize. And I feel like this is another healing component of Sedna. It is about synthesizing all of those dismembered parts.
Now, in your book, you also, I like what you're saying, and in your book, you also are talking about shamans who give offerings to Sedna. And what kinds of things, like, I know we create altars in our homes, both PK and myself, and our audience does this as well. Is there anything that you can think of that we should be doing as an offering to Sedna as she moves closer to our planet?
The best thing in the world is to practice right relationship with our environment, to understand the sacredness that dwells in all life, to recognize, to commune with nature, and to recognize the consciousness, the indwelling of spirit that exists in our plant kingdom, in our animal kingdom, in the mineral kingdom. This planet is alive. That is what Inuit culture teaches. And their laws and languages for right relationship were not written down. They were written on the hearts of the Inuit people. So this is why I say cultivating, getting in touch with our own heart, what really makes us happy, and getting in, staying in touch with nature and seeing the magic, the synchronicity in everyday life.
And that's, I love to hear that. It's not so easy to do it, but there are a lot of tools today. I mean, your healing ability with music and sound is very important in this process, because we are all, what's called the matrix in my mind is simply a circuit board that's imposed on us by society, family, school, etc. So we are looking to unhook from that has, again, been given the name of the matrix, and then find out what are we truly about. So this circuit board, it either burns itself out and we go down with it, or we take that leap into cosmic consciousness and we get free of it.
Right.
So your work does help people in astroharmonic medicine get free of the constraints of that circuit board that's imposed on us. So I think that's one of the tools that's offered today that people need to really take advantage of. This is not that easy to do when you are programmed, as we've all been programmed, by families and society. I mean, there's a certain programming that takes place, and some of it's even pre-verbal, and it's very hard to get out from under the yoke of that. But that's why, again, we have to seek out, in my opinion, help. We have to seek out ways to get free of it. And whether it's through dream analysis or learning about yourself through numerology, or again the astroharmonic medicine that you do, there are so many places to go today, and that's a good thing.
Yeah.
So many people.
Absolutely.
And I really want to encourage everybody to find their way with that, because without somebody to hold your hand or help you to mirror back to you what's happening in your own life, sometimes it's very challenging, to say the least.
Right. Yeah, I agree. And it isn't something that we can think our way out of. We can't think our way out of this false narrative or this false matrix. That is why I do work with sound. But as you said, there are many, many tools people can use to facilitate tapping into the imaginative realm, tapping into the extra phenomenal world, and communing with nature. Like I said, the more we do that, the more we will see the infinite mind talking to us all the time. That is what restores our hope and trust and reminds us that we are not alone. We never have been. There are forces that are surrounding us that are supporting our journey and, lifting us into those higher realms. They can't do the work for us, but all we have to do is ask for that support, and it is there.
Yes, and that's what we have to do, absolutely. Now, let me ask you a question about the sea mammals, about whales and dolphins and their relationship with Sedna. I would imagine it's profound.
Well, they are the record keepers, and because they dwell in water, I mean, honestly, sorry. I was going to say I'm not aware of a particular story that connects like whale and dolphin medicine with Sedna specifically, but because Sedna is associated with water element in Chinese medicine and the kidneys, it speaks to hearing, because kidneys flower into the ears. So we're talking about sound again. Sedna is associated with so many words that begin with S. Supernatural, spiritual, but it's really the marriage of science and spirit, I feel. It's this coming together, coming full circle, because what spiritualists and metaphysical priests and priestesses have been saying for ages, the scientists are now confirming. And so Sedna is about exploring those avenues, regardless of whether we can have concrete proof right now. We need to be our own scientists. We need to conduct our own experiments. And so I'm getting off your question. Sorry.
But no, that's okay. I mean,
but it's interesting.
It's just, I'll tell you, one of the things that made me ask you this question, I was looking at the news earlier today, and I saw something that, again, horrified me about whales being hunted again. That some country, I forget who it is, I don't remember if it was Japan again is doing it, but that they're now sanctioning hunting of whales. And I think this is an important step in our consciousness also, to be able to garner all of our resources as human beings and say no to it. I mean, whether it's in the petition format or in donations to organizations. I mean, we on Supernatural Girls, PK and I, we support baby elephants that have been orphaned and making sure we give donations so that they can have their, a safe place to live and be cared for. And we encourage everybody in our audience to participate in whatever way they can with helping animals across the planet. But certainly with Sedna, it reminded me of this whale thing that got me so upset. And I just think it's important, again, for people to look at the ocean. It is full of life. Yeah. And we have done damage to the ocean. We have done damage to the mammals in the ocean and the fish in the ocean. We've done terrible things. I mean, the Navy with its sonar that has been throwing the whales and dolphins off their normal magnetic paths. So it's like, hey, it's up to us, everybody out there listening. It's up to us to say something about it. And that's part of the way that we can speak through our own emotion and passion, with our own water in alignment with Sedna and what's necessary. So I just wanted to bring that point around. I think it's important for people to remember that there is life in the oceans that needs our protection.
Oh, absolutely. Without a doubt. That's part of her message, to be in right relationship with the ecosystem, with the environment. Every single created being has a purpose. And upsetting that is what has caused us to be living in such a state of chaos. But I always come back to, and this is my personal mission, everyone has their own specific life purpose, and they've got to follow that passion. I don't particularly feel like it is my purpose to go and protest and hold a picket sign. I'm a writer, so I like to do the research. I do the inner work, and my work is about encouraging others to do the inner work and recognize that when you are accessing the inner space, you are effecting healing that reverberates out into the infinite space. We can't throw our arms around the world because that train has long since, that's a tidal wave. We're not going to stop. The only thing we can manage is ourselves. And so that's why I love doing the astroanalysis, giving people some information about, who they are and where they are right now. How can I support them with the Astros Found work, whether personally or in a recording? But that's me. That is just, what
that's your
I
path.
do.
That's
all
your
of
passion.
us has
All
of us have a unique gift, and that's what we need to cultivate, and that's what we need to share. That's the fastest way I can see in bringing about the kind of healing we need. Yeah.
Isn't the key to that to be found in someone's astrological chart? I mean, I would imagine that, when you unlock the key to these charts, that's what you're finding out, is what are you here for, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's some may give more, some may provide more specifics, but I prefer to facilitate a space where they can journey and discover that on their own. But absolutely, the chart provides clues to the gifts and the talents, as well as the homework. What is the curriculum? And we look at the South and North Node for that information.
Yeah, it's interesting because when you talked about the chart, we were talking about this off the air, the chart being a frozen picture, right, that you bring to life with music. PK, I was wondering, with what you do with numbers, if that could be done with numbers the same way that Jennifer is doing this with the astrology. Can that be
Certainly.
done? I don't.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool.
Definitely.
But the whole way.
Never thought about it in that direction.
Yeah, but I mean, it's so powerful because it transcends our limited ability to speak English. I mean, it goes to a whole different level of communication when you're using music. So you could use it with your numerological readings.
Yeah, because every letter has a number value to it, and that would be the same as in music. It has a number value to it. So that would give us more information. Oh, good idea to look at.
Yeah. Yes. Now, when you do this kind of work, Jennifer, with somebody's chart, and you turn it into music, what kind of music do you use? I mean, what kind of instruments? How do you do it?
Oh, okay. So the Accutonics healing system uses tuning forks that are calibrated to the planetary frequencies, and some have resonators on them so that when you activate them and they're vibrating, they will continue to vibrate when you place them on the body. Other tuning forks are a higher frequency, so they're used in the energy field. But the idea is to create a sound wave using two tuning forks, so creating that musical interval. And when placed on the body, we are activating the deeper meridian system known as the 8 extraordinary vessels. So you might have one on lung 7 and another tuning fork on kidney 6, and it's activating the conception vessel that runs up and down the body that governs the yin, all of the yin energies in the body. That's just one example. 2 tuning forks. And then when I do the recordings, I usually use the higher frequencies because they are, they travel, because they're higher frequencies, they're just more conducive to working with the energy field. That's all.
Right. So you can work long distance with people.
Yes.
It sounds like the other way you're working hands-on. So, yeah, that's all really powerful work. And I know there's other people doing all kinds of tuning for it. We had somebody on the show who did that. Remember, PK? Eileen.
Yeah, and I'm trying to remember.
Eileen Matusik?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, she did
tuning the human biofield.
Right. She was on the show. She did like a whole healing for the audience. It was great. So, the power of sound and the power of using those tuning forks is not to be underestimated. It is quite amazing. And so I just didn't know also if you used any other instruments, violins, piano, anything like that, but you just stay right with the tuning forks.
Right, because I'm using astrology as the basis, and the tuning forks are calibrated to the planetary tones. So I look at,
okay.
I'm looking at
Make a
the
big difference.
aspects that are causing dissonance or that are presenting the growth challenge, let's say, and I'm using those frequencies because I want, it's like harmonic homeopathy. We want that to get into the psyche and create or restore the harmony that is needed, so that when those triggers happen in that person's external world, it is not as much of a trigger.
Right. That makes sense. Now, does Planet Sedna have her own frequency? Have you been able to determine that? Oh, cool.
I haven't, but that is what the Acutonics Institute did. So when I first started studying acutonics, they already had the Sedna frequency. But I'd love to share a story if we have time about.
Yes.
Okay, when I was beginning my journey as an acutonics practitioner, I was at a health fair providing a session to this gentleman. He's also a healer and light worker, and his name is Forrest Green. So I was outside in beautiful Asheville, North Carolina, and giving him a session. Well, as I'm working on him, he is describing what's going on in his energy field that he can see, like different geometric, sacred geometry happening in his energy field. But as he is describing this to me, he sees the elementals gathering around. Remember, we're outside in this beautiful setting. And so they're watching this unfold, and he's hearing them and seeing them, whisper to each other, what's this? What's going on? Well, I finish up the session, and I play the Sedna tone for him. And the leader of the elemental clan group said, that's the tone our ancestors used. And said,
"Oh wow!
Boy!"
And then I know. And then he said, "This is a good use of technology."
Oh, perfect!
I just find that story so adorable. I just it says it all to me, because these are the kingdoms, these are the dimensions that Sedna is coming back to remind us absolutely exist.
Oh, they absolutely do. We have no doubt here of any of that. And it's nice that Sedna's going to try to get the rest of the people on board. It's, to us here on this show, it's normal. And that's one of the things that draws people to listen to us, is because this stuff is all normal to us. There's nothing abnormal about it. It is all a part of our reality. That other people choose to exclude it, well, again, to me, that's like cutting off a part of yourself that you don't want to deal with. But certainly there's multi-dimensions. There's multi-dimensional beings coming in and out of our reality all the time. And you can ignore it or you can pay attention. But I love that story about the elementals and their comments as to what you were doing in that Sedna frequency. I'd love to hear that Sedna frequency sometime. Is that something that you can record and send to us so we could play it for people?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, that would be wonderful.
Yeah, I would love to do that so people could hear it. Certainly that's... Oh, go ahead.
I just want to mention to you, because I'm working on the Astro Sound recording for the full moon happening in just 3 days, May 18th. And this is important because Sedna figures prominently in this full moon chart. Sedna is 27 degrees Taurus, conjunct the sun at 27 Taurus. So Sedna is conjunct the sun at this full moon. The moon is 27 Scorpio, of course, because it's their exact sun and moon, exact degree at a full moon. Anyway, I am creating a recording for the full moon, and I am happy to send you that. I would love, if anyone listening is interested, to please find me on YouTube. I'd like to have us connect in this way on a monthly basis, align with the lunar cycles, which is all about all about our emotions.
Now,
balancing
Jennifer,
the
would you
hormones.
do me a favor and just send me the link to your YouTube channel? And also, we'll announce it right now. Is it under your name, Jennifer Gale?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Good.
Okay, and that's, again, for everybody listening, Jennifer's last name is spelled G-E-H-L. Pronounced Gale, but it's G-E-H-L. So, yeah, I know a lot of people would really like to be a part of that, to be with you as you broadcast these signatories. I think it's a very powerful experience that everybody would love to have. So, yes, I'm going to try to be there for that. How about you, PK?
I think that sounds fabulous. Great idea.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
I think it's very healing. And it's a great way to have people come together and start resonating together. So
right, exactly.
It's a wonderful way to experience that. Now, how long are these sessions that you do at the new moon and full moon?
This is, I just want to clarify, I do the recordings and I upload them to YouTube. So they're approximately 10 minutes, no longer than that. I give a little introduction and then they listen to the recording. And I also provide the healing potentials for each of the planetary blends that they're listening to. So you learn a little bit about astrology as well as just being able to close your eyes and listen and let the sound do the work. I mean, it's not that the sound is doing the work for you. Everyone, as we've already said, we all have our work to do. But sound does really create a space where it's organic and it's just easier. It feels wonderful. It transports you. That's a better word. It transports you into that other dimension, the dimension of the higher harmonies.
Well, we're all for making it easier.
Got that right.
We stand with that.
Definitely.
And it's pleasant, because you're playing some frequencies that are very pleasant to listen to, I'm sure. So that all helps us along on this path. And it's fun when you're there and you're listening with friends and other people, other people are listening at the same time. So basically what you're saying is you upload it and people can listen to it that day, that night, or anytime.
Right. Sure. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, I think that's wonderful. Gosh, it's a great, great thing that you're doing. So, again, tell everybody how they can reach you one more time.
Sure. My website is soundworksbyGale.com. They can find me on YouTube, as we just said, under Jennifer Gale. And my email address is soundworksbygale@gmail.com.
Very good.
Great.
And
do you still train people to do what you do? You said you don't teach anymore at the Institute, but do you also offer classes to people who want to learn this?
I have not developed a class yet, but it is on my to-do list. It is something I would like to do. I just haven't quite figured out how to do that because it's learning the language of astrology as well as a little bit of Chinese medicine in terms of finding the points on the body, although that's not all that. I mean, it's all doable. It's all absolutely doable, and it is what I did when I was teaching level 1 and 2 acutonics and the elective, which was harmonic astrology, learning how to use the astrology chart as a way to devise a treatment protocol. But
now,
The astrosound.
I'm
working on it.
It's a lot. Yeah, it sounds like it's a lot of material to put together, and then to be able to actually teach it to other people. So I understand what you're saying. It's a big undertaking. And with our astrological charts, I mean, people that are in our audience that are kind of new to astrology, our charts are a certain way when we're born, but then there are transits. The things change throughout time with our charts. So it's not stagnant, right? It keeps moving.
Absolutely not. Yeah. Yes. So we have progressed cycles where we're looking at the progressed sun and progressed moon, and that's the dance or the relationship between the conscious self and the unconscious self. We have solar returns and lunar returns. We have the transits, which is the current sky. What's happening right now, and how does that interact with your natal signature? The natal signature is basically a signature we do carry throughout our lives, but of course it evolves as the transits awaken the different parts of ourselves to transform in a certain way based upon the aspects, based upon how they're impacting us and, what is being evoked in terms of change.
What about the north and south node? How does that affect us with this?
The nodes of the moon are what I look to first in terms of our rite of passage. What are the challenges, or, call them shamanic initiations? What are the initiations that we have to go through in order to remove the blocks and neutralize the triggers so that we can embrace the fullness of soul's expression as symbolized through the north node, which is uncharted territory. It's it's not as familiar to us, so it's more challenging to get to the north node, but we do not ever have to abandon our south node, but we do have to learn what we need to take with us and what we need to let go of in order to express the north node energy more gracefully.
That's interesting.
Sorry about that.
Well, Jennifer, we can't thank you enough for coming on the show tonight. This has been a fascinating discussion of something we did not know anything about. So thank you for bringing this to our show and our audience. Yeah, this has been great. So everybody, again,
yes, it has.
Jennifer's book is The Return of Planet Sedna, and it's Astrology, Healing, and the Awakening of Cosmic Kundalini. It's available on Amazon.com, and I'm sure in your local bookstore as well. And you can also join up with Jennifer on YouTube and visit her on her website. So, again, thanks so much, Jennifer. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
This has been great. And next week, everybody,
pleasure.
we're going to be... Thank you. We'll be back with another great show. And don't forget to take a look at the candles. Book a session with PK. And you can also book a session with me for soul realignment. I've been doing a lot of readings lately. There's always time for my audience. Yes.
Well, that's because yours is so good. We need it.
Okay. Yes. We all need it. So now next week, we have a very unusual guest on. Again, we have a psychic medium, but somebody we haven't met before. This is going to be fun. So until then, everybody, yes, we will see you on the Blue Highway. Good night.
Good night.
Thanks for listening. Tune in next week for another radio adventure with Supernatural.